His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa received a telephone call from Latvian President Edgars Rinkēvičs, during which the President expressed condemnation and denunciation of the Iranian attacks that targeted Bahrain, affirming his country's solidarity and support for the measures taken by Bahrain to preserve its sovereignty and security and safeguard its achievements. His Majesty the King affirmed that Bahrain will remain steadfast in its established approach based on wisdom and moderation and the promotion of peace and cooperation with its Arab, regional and international neighbours in a manner that serves the security and stability of the region. His Majesty expressed appreciation for the positions of Latvia, for the sincere sentiments of solidarity expressed by its President and for the support he has shown to Bahrain. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, received the UK Secretary for State for Defence, John Healey, upon his visit to the Kingdom. His Majesty welcomed the British Defence Secretary and reviewed the strong bilateral relations and various aspects of cooperation and joint action between the two friendly countries. His Majesty expressed pride in the distinguished historical ties and close partnership between Bahrain and the UK, which have spanned many years of alliance, joint coordination and fruitful cooperation, particularly in matters of military and defence. His Majesty affirmed the mutual commitment to further developing and strengthening these ties at all levels to serve the common goals and interests of both nations and peoples. His Majesty also praised the role played by the UK on the international stage and its active contributions to consolidating the pillars of security, stability and peace in the region and the world. His Majesty the King discussed with the British Defence Secretary the latest developments in the region, major regional and international developments, as well as topics of mutual interest. The British Defence Secretary expressed appreciation to His Majesty the King for his efforts in strengthening the distinguished partnership, deepening the historic bonds of friendship and enhancing military and defence cooperation with his country. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, a Deputy Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces and Prime Minister, Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, met with the UK Secretary for State for Defence, John Healey. His Royal Highness highlighted the long-standing nature of Bahrain-UK relations, underpinned by strategic partnerships and multi-sectorial collaboration. His Royal Highness emphasised the shared commitment to further bolstering cooperation, particularly within military and defence, in line with signed agreements, including the Comprehensive Security Integration and Prosperity Agreement, CSIPA, to benefit of both nations. His Royal Highness praised the UK's significant international role and its efforts to safeguard regional and international security and stability. The meeting also explored avenues to strengthen bilateral cooperation, particularly in the military and defence sectors. Discussions also addressed regional developments and implications for regional and international security and stability, as well as a range of other issues of mutual interest. The Minister of Defence Affairs, Lieutenant General Abdullah Al-Nuaimi, and the Chief of Staff of the BDF, Lieutenant General Thiab Al-Nuaimi, were in attendance. The General Command of the Bahrain Defence Force announced that through the unwavering vigilance of its personnel, the air defence systems continue to successfully counter successive waves of the hostile terrorist Iranian aggression. Since the onset of hostilities, air defences have intercepted and destroyed 182 ballistic missiles and 400 drones targeting Bahrain. The General Command expressed its pride in the exceptional combat readiness and vigilance demonstrated by BDF personnel and praised the sustained operational effectiveness in defending Bahrain, which continues to inspire confidence that Bahrain's kingdom skies remain secure. It urged all members of the public to exercise the utmost caution for their personal safety and are advised to keep clear of affected areas and any suspicious objects, refrain from filming or photographing military operations or debris sites, avoid spreading unverified information, and consult only official media channels for updates. The General Command further emphasised that the use of ballistic missiles and drones to target civilian areas and private property constitutes a flagrant violation of international humanitarian law and the United Nations Charter, as these indiscriminate attacks represent a direct threat to regional peace and security. As Bahrain assumes the presidency of the current session of the GCC, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdulatif Al-Zayani, chaired a meeting of Their Highnesses, the foreign ministers of the GCC and Jordan via video conference. The meeting was attended by the Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, and GCC Secretary General Jassim Al-Badawi. They discussed the latest regional developments, the repercussions of the Iranian attacks in GCC states and Jordan, and the significant loss of life, property and civilian infrastructure they caused. The meeting also addressed the implications of restricting freedom of international navigation in the Strait of Hormuz and emphasised the importance of continuing joint efforts for coordination within the UN Security Council, given Bahrain's current non-permanent membership and Russia's permanent membership on the Council. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdulatif Al-Zayani, received a telephone call from Finland's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Elina Valtonen, during which they discussed recent regional developments and the Iranian attack on Bahrain. Valtonen expressed her country's condemnation of the Iranian attacks in Bahrain and countries in the region and the resulting loss of life and damage to property, and affirmed Bahrain's solidarity with the kingdom in measures it is taking to safeguard its security and stability. She stressed the importance of protecting the Strait of Hormuz for global economy, praised bilateral ties and wished Bahrain continued security. Dr. Al-Zayani thanked Valtonen for Finland's solidarity against Iranian attacks and support for Bahrain's security measures, while praising the growing bilateral relations, wishing Finland further progress and prosperity. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdulatif bin Rashid Al-Zayani, held a telephone call with the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy and Vice President of the European Commission, Kaja Kallas. During the call, they reviewed the existing cooperation and partnership relations between Bahrain and the European Union and discussed ways to strengthen and further develop them across various fields in a manner that serves mutual interests, in addition to exchanging views on topics and issues of common concern. They also discussed current regional developments, the continuation of the malicious Iranian attacks in Bahrain and GCC countries, and the threat these attacks pose to regional security and stability. The discussion further addressed the implications of Iran's closure of the Strait of Hormuz on the freedom of international navigation, energy security and the global economy, while emphasising the importance of continuing consultation and joint coordination to enhance regional and international security and stability. The Ministry of Interior announced that the General Directorate of Criminal Investigation and Forensic Science has arrested 3 persons for forming a terrorist cell affiliated with the Lebanese Hezbollah terrorist organisation. The suspects coordinated with terrorist elements abroad and sought to engage in espionage with them in a manner intended to undermine the sovereignty of the kingdom, spread fear and panic among citizens and residents, and endanger the security and safety of the country. Those arrested are Ahmed Hussein Madan, aged 24, Hassan Abdulhamia Ashur, aged 22, Muhammad Abdul Mohsen Ali Madan, aged 29. The statements of the arrestees reveal that during their travel to Lebanon, they received weapons training after meeting with members of the Lebanese Hezbollah terrorist organisation. They also sent images and information about the repercussions of the Iranian aggression against Bahrain and collected funds under the guise of charitable work, transferring them to support the activities of Hezbollah in preparation for being tasked with its leaders with carrying out terrorist plots and acts in Bahrain. The Directorate stated that the necessary legal procedures had been completed and that the arrestees had been referred to the public prosecution. Based on the Ministry of Interior, Security and Legal Responsibilities, the decision to ban the use of civilian drones, including quadcopters, comes as part of efforts to safeguard the nation's security and safety and to strengthen civil protection in light of the response to the repercussions of the blatant Iranian aggression against Bahrain. More in this report.
Since the 28th of February, Bahrain has been subjected to a hostile Iranian aggression, an act rejected by all international and humanitarian conventions. In response, the Ministry of Interior continues its efforts to safeguard national security, enhance civil protection, and maintain public safety. As part of these measures, a total ban has been imposed on the use of civilian drones or quadcopters, with any violating aircraft to be intercepted and destroyed to preserve public order. This comes as the BDF air defense systems stand ready to counter hostile missiles and drones. The ministry affirms that legal action will be taken against violators and urges citizens and residents to report any private drone activity by calling the emergency line 999 as part of the community partnership framework.
The permanent mission of Bahrain to the United Nations in New York continues its efforts to keep the international community informed about the heinous and unjustified Iranian aggression against Bahrain. Among these efforts, the permanent mission sent its 8th letter on this matter to both the UN Secretary-General and the President of the Security Council on March the 29th, outlining the most significant developments and statistics related to this aggression. The letter stated that official reports confirmed these attacks are part of a series of missile and drone attacks targeting several countries in the region, representing an unprecedented escalation that threatens regional security and stability. The statement affirmed that since the beginning of these attacks, the Bahrain Defence Force, BDF, air defence systems, have continued to counter these aggressions. This has contributed to mitigating potential damage and protecting civilian lives and vital infrastructure. The statement also referred to the BDF General Command statement issued on March the 24th, mourning the loss of a Moroccan national, a civilian contractor with the armed forces of the UAE. He was martyred while performing his national duty alongside his brothers in the BDF in confronting the Iranian attacks. The statement also confirmed that several of its members and their brothers in the UAE armed forces were injured while performing their national duty in confronting the Iranian aggression targeting Bahrain. The statement indicated that several civilian sites were subjected to missile and drone attacks, including facilities belonging to Aluminium Bahrain and energy facilities and fuel tanks in Maharik Governorate. Other attacks targeted the Babco Energy's refinery and Citra, as well as residential building in Manama. These attacks resulted in the death of a Bahraini citizen and an expatriate and caused injuries to several Bahraini civilians, including children, in addition to damaging civilian facilities and vital infrastructure. In this context, the statement referred to the UN Human Rights Council resolution adopted on March the 25th, 2026, condemning Iran's reprehensible attacks targeting the GCC and Jordan. The statement also referred to Security Council Resolution 2817, adopted on March the 11th, which condemned in the strongest terms the heinous attacks launched by Iran against the GCC and Jordan. The resolution affirmed the right of these states to defend themselves individually or collectively. Bahrain reiterated its call to the international community and the Security Council in particular to continue condemning and addressing these attacks. It emphasises that the continued targeting of civilian infrastructure and facilities endangers the lives of civilians and undermines regional and international peace and security. In this context, the statement reiterated Bahrain's full and inherent right to take all necessary and legitimate measures to respond to the aforementioned attacks in a manner commensurate with their nature and severity, in accordance with Article 51 of the Charter of the UN, within the framework of international law and in coordination with its allies and partners. It also affirmed Bahrain's unwavering commitment to the purposes and principles of the Charter of the UN and its full adherence to international law, while continuing to take all necessary measures and procedures to safeguard its security and stability, protect its territory, and ensure the safety of its citizens and residents. The statement concluded by affirming that Bahrain will work with the relevant authorities to assess all damages and losses resulting from these attacks, and that Bahrain will continue to keep the UN informed of any relevant developments. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Kuwait expressed its condemnation and denunciation of the terrorist plot that aimed to carry out terrorist acts in Bahrain, and of the investigation findings revealing external links seeking to undermine security and stability. The Kuwaiti Ministry of Foreign Affairs commended the efficiency and vigilance of the security authorities in the sisterly Kingdom of Bahrain and their ability to foil the plot. The ministry also affirmed Kuwait's full solidarity with Bahrain, reiterating its firm rejection of terrorism in all its forms and its support for efforts aimed at safeguarding security and stability in the countries of the GCC. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates of Jordan strongly condemned the terrorist plot that aimed to undermine the sovereignty, security and safety of Bahrain. The ministry reaffirmed Jordan's rejection and denunciation of the plot, expressing Jordan's absolute solidarity with Bahrain and support for all measures taken to safeguard its sovereignty, security, stability and the safety of its citizens and residents. It also stressed Jordan's firm rejection of all forms of violence and terrorism, seeking to destabilise security and peace. The Arab Parliament expressed its strong condemnation and denunciation of the heinous terrorist plot that aimed to carry out acts of sabotage within Bahrain. It affirmed its full support and complete solidarity with Bahrain and its support for all measures taken by the Kingdom to protect its sovereignty, maintain its internal security and ensure the safety of its citizens and residents. The Arab Parliament also affirmed its categorical rejection of all forms of terrorism and extremism, regardless of their motives or sources, especially those that aim to destabilise security and stability in Arab countries, stressing the importance of strengthening joint Arab efforts to combat this dangerous phenomenon.
Dear citizens and residents, when hearing the first warning sirens while driving, kindly do the following. Continue driving and clear the left lane to open the way for emergency vehicles, civil defense, ambulances, traffic, security patrols to perform their duties. Listen to official media channels. Seek shelter in the nearest building or take cover in non-exposed areas until the danger has passed. Dear citizens and residents, if you're at home or at work, kindly do the following. Be calm, don't go out except for essentials, and as per instructions and guidelines issued by competent authorities. When you hear the second warning siren when the danger ends and situations are back to normal, the following procedures should be considered. Do not gather near affected areas for your safety and avoid hindering civil defense saving lives operations. Do not pick up objects thrown on the ground even if they are familiar to you.